Welcome to the Hisvados Hachona, Gimel Tammuz. And during this Hisvados, this hour of inspiration, we're going to be having talks in both English, Yiddish, and Ivrit. Now, obviously, preparing for the Yom HaGadol V'Hanoira, the day of Gimel Tammuz, is a time to strengthen and work on our Hiskashus to the Rebbe. In a Sicha in Tofshin Nun, I remember as a Bacher hearing it. To be honest, I don't remember when it was exactly. The Rebbe spoke about an Inyan, and then the Rebbe suddenly said, "Wir soll das übergeben zu die, was sind nicht da." We should give it over to those that are not present. And then the Rebbe added, and the Rebbe said this at other times also, "Es fran die, was sind da, aber nicht da, und es fran die, was sind nicht da, aber da." There are those that might be present, but they're not really here. And then there are those that are not present, but they are able to be here. And here we are 25 years after Gimel Tammuz. The Rebbe is telling us we have the ability, both those that saw the Rebbe Vechom Chayusei and those that are able to see the Rebbe through the Rebbe's Torah, to be da, to be present, to be connected with the Rebbe. And to be honest, I believe that this is a nest of our generation, to see that there are Chassidim who are able to live and connect with the Rebbe in a way, perhaps, that the older generation can learn something from. On the Hanukkah Live video, we were able to see the way a song was sung around the world, and people were connected to each other, and especially to the Rebbe through this. So to start this hour of Hisorerus and Farbrengen, we're going to start with the niggin of the Rebbe. Rabbi Zalman Gurari would go in every Hanukkah, the first day of Hanukkah, to Yechidus. In Tofshin Nun Aleph, when at that time the Yechidus had changed to Yechidus Klolis downstairs, the Rebbe said to him that although he's coming into the Rebbe's room, but the real Yechidus would be downstairs in the Beis HaMedrash, in the Zal, during the Yechidus that was for Archim. This little anecdote story communicates a powerful point that our hiskashrus and our connection to the Rebbe is not necessarily the way we would like it to be, but it is the way the Rebbe wants it to be. And therefore, when Rebbe Shmuel Lu asked the Rebbe, Mahi hiskashrus, the Rebbe said, through learning what I learned. Obviously, through listening to the Rebbe's Farbrengens and Sichas, that is one of the most powerful and important ways. And I remember when the Rebbe was speaking about in Yoni Gula Mashiach, the Rebbe spoke about in Yoni Gula Mashiach the way it was in Teresh Bechsav and Teresh Balpeh, biz in Lekut Sichas from the Siderenu in the Rebbe's Sichas, the Rebbe mentioning his own Sichas. So with the help of Jem Zashreinuat, we're going to now be listening to a Sicha of the Rebbe, which is from Yud Shvat, Tavshin Chof Ches.
Was eine von den Jungen gewesen, was damals gesagt bis sicher. Als das war der Tate, das der Rebbe nicht mehr sehen, hat mit mir gerät in Schnarzstoff spät. Was das gewesen, der Schnarzer ist Talkus von dem Rebbe nicht mehr sehen, und Kabbalah kann ich sehen durch den Bala Yibule, das meine Ramuzge. Das war der Tat, hat mit mir gerät, auf Tofre spät, hat mich auf sich umgenommen. Nur von dem mit Neid. Also sein, befestigt gebracht. Das hat mir gekostet, das auch gesund. Was die Wand und dem Zimmer seinen Dürre geweckt mit Tränen, gesehen, soll nicht zukommen und was gesehen zu bewohnen, Schleil in Geja und Schleil Rache. Was hat keine der Loschen, wo der Funde verstandig, als die Schafe sich wegen Toffer ist spät, und nicht der Fund, was Motos Arriba, der Bala Iwule, hat das damals ein Reis genommen von der Regime und wird nicht gelost, drucken, mit Fasten sein, Borabi. Meint mir das wegen der Union Hanisius und erstmal an Hogas Hanisius, wo damals ist echt verstandig, der Hemmscher hat Dvorim, als hat es genommen in dem Tnai, als soll sein Bechesse, hat angenommen, nur mit Tnai, als soll sein Bechesse zu brachen. Und nach vielen Nordruhe hat es genommen in dem Tnai, was sich schon gewähnt, der Haskomme von dem Meister Hanisius, wo es doch ein Haskomme von Anossi Bedere, ist das Hanesin Askeach, ist da noch Messi. Als noch dem allen hatten gedacht, kommen zu trennen. Wo es trennen beweist das Asaminini, wo der Klee Hameach konnte es nicht vernehmen und herumnehmen und einhalten in sie. Wenn Mele geht das Ares in ein Leben von Trennen, wie in Loschna Kabole, was das nennt sich von Meisere Mechin, wo der Bier, wo sie ist, in Nefesh Odom, aber schade, der Nefesh konnte es nicht vertragen, den Zar, oder in dem Kavatel de Simcho, geht das Ares in ein Leben, wie sie Gista Chariber, Bachovis, der Meisre, wo das ist der Ingen hat Moi. Und der Moi schau Simcho Binyonom, und der Moi schau Tfilo, wie Stabchus a Nefesh Binyon. Und ist noch mehr. Es hat nicht maßig gewesen, Tränen Stamm, nur es hat gedacht sein, als ein Leben von Tränen, aber das hat durchgenommen in der Welt von den Zinnen.
Just like by Matan Torah, so too Yir Beinecha Kechadoshim, which means that the Rebbe's words have to be real, relevant, and live with them. So we are going to be hearing now on the topic of preparing for Gimel Tammuz with Hiskashrus and Geula from the head shliach of the West Coast of California and the Chava Agudas Chassidic Chabad HaElamis and of Russia, Rabbi Shlomo Kunin.
The first thing that we all have to realize, which is the most important thing, is, as we say, in the capital of the Rebbe. Hey du Hashem ki tov, ki li'olam chasdei. We thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for his great chesed. Was wir haben a Rebbe, we have a Rebbe. No good father would ever leave his children alone. That's the first thing that we say to the Eibishter. And we say it every day. Eibishter, thank you so much. Was wir haben den Rebbe mit uns. We have the Rebbe with us. And then we say afterwards, von deswegen, 25 years have gone by. Min ha-meitzar korosi ko, anoni ba-merchav ko. Gewalt geschrien. Where was there ever such a time that there should be an incredible generation that yearns for Mashiach, yearns for our Rebbe, that ever was a time like this. Moshe Rabbeinu, hoyon of mi'ed, mikol adam asher apnei adama, when he looked at the third Hashvi'i azem, the last third of exile, and the first third of Geulah. That's the first thing we say to the Eibishter, thank you, but what's with this mesa we find ourselves in? And then we give a geshrei. Oh no, Hashem Yishirana. Help us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Asinu, Mashiach B'deinu Lafes. And like today's Shir Chumash, where Moshe Rabbeinu says, how am I supposed to count all these kids? What am I supposed to do? And Rashi says, which by the way was the most important in Yonim of its kashas to the Rebbe, is Limud Ashuri Chitas, Hayoim Yoim, or Rambam 3 prokim a day, which with the Rebbe's help I've been able to do pretty much forever. So that's the next step that we say to the Rebbe, and then we do what we can do. The Rebbe gave us our Rebbe, we have him. Rebbe is always with us. Now, knowing that, the Rebbe says, do what you can do to bring Mashiach. Don't sit and cry. Don't sit and say, hey, what's going to be? Do what you can do. First thing is the Rebbe says, Purim Cotton Tafshin Yudalet. Mashiach waits behind the wall of Avanesechem Mavdilin, between the Eibishter and us, and Mashiach waits, we, the Rebbe's kinder, should break that wall down. You will swear up a cushy, having a rough day, get yourself up out of your chair, get out there, find a yid, put on tefillin with him. If it's a lady, let her call another woman to use the mikveh. Build mikvehs, take rachlotzes, build a mikveh. It doesn't have to be the fanciest mikveh there is. Take rachlotzes to be able to make a mikveh, like Baruch Hashem, our son, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Kunin, is doing now, currently in Malibu. What you have to do is then, when you're in the morning, you close your eyes and say, Rebbe, give me the koiches to get through this day. Listen to the Rebbe's sichos. God bless Jen. Watch the Rebbe's videos. That's what it takes. Learn the Rebbe's sichos. That's what it takes. Open up another institution. Don't be afraid. We've opened so far this year 12 new shluchim, Baruch Hashem. Adain God, and many more to be expected. We are now holding my 350 shluchim. Don't think, well, my son is going to grow up, my daughter is getting married, I got to have a place to send him. Put a shliach, take a young shliach in, put a shliach to work, knocking at the doors, for them to look to echad beis Yisrael. That's your discussions to the Rebbe. Action. What are we supposed to do? Sit and cry? Learn the sichos. When you go say Krishma by Shalom at night, as exhausted we can be, and we all know what that means. You know what you do? You close your eyes, say, Rebbe, I gave you everything I could today. Eibishter, mir tun was wir kennen. Now you have to do what you have to do. That's what it is. So then they say, oh, Gewalt, how is it supposed to be? When we see the Rebbe's Nisim, like we saw in Poway, in other places, so the same time, very close. Wir haben a Rebbe. We have a Rebbe. Yes, Lonu what we have to do is give like you say, Abo, Hatzileni, help me, Rebbe, Habrachmanis. And stick out 4 Shlema as well to my Rebbetzin or to me, Meslumalea. Get as many people as you can. It's cautious. Get people to come. Children befrat. Shuas in the shuls. It's not too late. Action. That's what it takes. That's his cautious. The Rebbe wants, that's what you got to do. And then you know what's going to be? It's going to be so simple. No, it's not going to be an earthquake, this and that. All of a sudden, we see the Rebbe standing on the steps of some Sunday. Melumas Bekesser, sein Kesser from Moshiach. Between the Reishdom, we can take us out of this, the last, the darkest of all the exiles. The Schus, Ho'amunah of our generation. Yorei, Vigolenu. And we should have Matan Torah together with the Rebbe. You're the Torah Leilam. You're the Gehula Leilam. You're the Torah Leilam. You're the Refuah Leilam. You're the Torah Leilam. You're the Ashirus Leilam. Immediately, if not sooner, this last of the moments, why should we have to wait for a Gimel Tammuz? Let's have the Gehula now. Kabbalah Torah, Besimcha, Ubepimius.
Yashikoyach Gadol, Rabbi Kunin, for the warm and heartfelt words imbued with Chassidishkeit and his kashrus. At every Farbrengen of the Rebbe would talk to the Chassidim and to the whole world. But then, between the Sichas, the Rebbe would respond to each person personally of L'chaim, and there's that Yachas of the Rebbe being the Melech over the whole world and the whole Adas Chassidim, but then the Avinu, the personal relationship that each and every one of us has. So we would like to now ask Rabbi Asi Spiegel, who's going to be speaking in Ivrit, in Hebrew, a Shliach of the Rebbe and Rosh HaKollel of Chassidus at the Tzin of the Hashvi'i, who's going to talk about Shidaber al Noseh Yachas Ishi Shelo im Rabbi.
לחיים חסידים. בקיץ תשמ"ב, לקראת הבר מצווה שלי, זכיתי לקבל מכתב מהרבא. לא הייתי אז ילד חבדניק, אני התעניינתי אז בחב"ד מאוד, ושאלתי את הרבא שאלה, והקדוש ברוך הוא שם לי רעיון טוב בראש, גם להכניס במכתב ששלחתי, גם לשלוח הזמנה לבר מצווה שלי, וככה זכיתי לקבל מהרבא מכתב לבר מצווה, וגם תשובה לשאלה ששאלתי. שאלתי את הרבא שאלה לגבי צבע בגדי שבת ויום טוב. השאלה הייתה למה הרבי לובש בגדים בצבע שחור. אני רציתי שיקנו לי לבר מצווה בגד שחור, ואבא שלי לא הסכים, והיה לי קצת ויכוח איתו על זה, ובסופו של דבר כתבתי שאלה לרבי. למה הרבי הולך עם בגדים שחורים? מה המקור לזה? זכיתי שהרבי ענה לי לשאלה הזאת, ובמכתב של הבר מצווה הוא כתב לי נון בייס בסוף של המכתב, ובנון בייס, אני לא אגיד את כל הנון בייס, אני לא אצטט את זה בלשון, הנון בייס הוא אומר שיש כל מיני מנהגים בצבע בגדי שבת ויום טוב, ושאני אסתכל בספרים השונים שמתעסקים בזה, לראות את הטעמים של כולם, אבל אז הוא הוסיף לי משפט, שזה סיום המכתב, את זה אני כן אצטט, והוא כתב לי ככה, ואנו אין לנו אלא מנהג נשיא דורנו, הוא כבוד קדושת מורי וחמי אדמו"ר. אני מאוד התפעלתי שקיבלתי מכתב מהרבי, ובוודאי שהוא כותב לי כאלה מילים, ואנו אין לנו אלא מנהג נשיא דורנו, אז התשובה הזאת גרמה לי לתשוקה אדירה להיות חסיד של הרבי, ומאז השתנו החיים שלי, וכמו שאומרים, הכל זה היסטוריה מאז. אבל למרות שזה מכתב אישי אליי, שאני קיבלתי, הרי בדור שלנו, הרבה מהעניינים הפרטיים הופכים להיות עניינים של הכלל, ולכן אני מספר את הסיפור הזה בכל מקום שאני מתוועד, בגלל שהנקודה של הסיפור, תמיד אני, במהלך השנים, כשחשבתי על זה יותר, אמרתי, איך הרבי, אני הייתי ילד בגיל בר מצווה עם כיפה סרוגה, אבא שלי היה פרופסור באוניברסיטה, הרבי כותב לי ככה, ואנו אין לנו אלא מנהג נשיא דורנו, כאילו שאני החסיד הכי גדול בעולם, שהרבי מדבר איתו על שפיץ ויסקשרס. זה מה שזכיתי שהרבי אמר לי, אבל בעצם, אני חושב, מגיע עכשיו ג' תמוז, 25 שנה, כולנו לוקחים החלטות, הנקודה הזאת, ואנו אין לנו אלא נופי דוירנו, שאנחנו, זה שאנחנו מאמינים בזה, זה ודאי, זה פשיטה, לא על זה מדברים, אבל שאנחנו יודעים, מה זה נשיא דורנו? נשיא דורנו זה לא איזה תואר כבוד, כן, הרבי צדיק, נשיא דורנו זה שהרבי הוא נוסי של כל יהודי שבדור. יש אנשים שזכו שזה באופן גלוי אצלם, ויש כאלה שזה לא גלוי אצלם, אז אנחנו, התפקיד שלנו, זה לגלות את זה אצלם. לא באופן של סיסמאות, לא הכוונה, יש כאלה שחושבים שאם הם תולים שלט וכותבים שם תוארים לרבי, אז בזה הם שינו את העולם. זה בסך הכל הודעה, מה אני חושב? אני חושב שהרבי נשיא דורנו. זה שאני אצעק כל היום שהרבי נשיא דורנו, זה לא בהכרח יפעל שמישהו אחר יחשוב ככה. ואנו אין לנו אלא נשיא דורנו, זה משהו שאנחנו צריכים להשתדל, להתעסק בזה, להתייגע בזה, איך אני מעביר לעוד יהודי שיחה של הרבי, עניין של הרבי, רעיון של הרבי, שאותו יהודי הוא בעצמו יבין שהרבי הוא נשיא דורנו, שזה יראה בכלים שלו, באופן המסקבל שהוא מבין את העניין הזה. וזה ודאי וודאי שבאים לכזה תאריך נורא של 25 שנה לג' תמוז, אנחנו צריכים לחשוב על זה שזה הזכות הכי גדולה שיכול להיות לנו, זה להביא עוד יהודי לרבי, עוד יהודי שיבין ויכיר את העניין של הרבי הוא נשיא דורנו, ודאי וודאי שזה ההכנה האמיתית לקיים את כל השליחות שהרבי נתן לנו, שזה עיקר השליחס, להביא את הגאולה האמיתית והשלמה תכף ומיד ממש, נחבר עוד יהודים לרבי, ובזה נזכה, כמו שאמר הרב קונין, שעוד לפני ג' תמוז, נזכה לגאולה האמיתית והשלמה. לחיים, לחיים.
L'chaim, Rabbi Asi, and Yashikoach Gadol, thank you very much. And while Asi speaks about bringing every single Jew to recognize Ein Lanu Ella, we only have Nesiderenu, so we go to the next topic, which is before we start with regards, or I don't know, before we start, but we go, in addition to the whole world, we start with our own family, with ourselves, our own family, and our Siva. So in the late Tafshin Mem, there was a bacher who, he learned to Maimach Chassidus, I think it was, and he wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and he wrote to the Rebbe that he had learned the Maimach Baal Peh, and he hoped that this will be Gerim Nachas Ruach to the Rebbe. The Rebbe's response was underlining the Gerim Nachas Ruach and added the word Rav, that this is Gerim a tremendous amount of Nachas Ruach. Ourselves and our families preparing for Gimel Tammuz through strengthening our Iskashrus is what Reb Michal Danov, my Shvager Shliach of the Rebbe in North Leeds and the University of Leeds, is now going to speak, and I believe he's going to speak in Yiddish.
L'chaim, Chassidim, Kidem Kol, me will danken die me ergenehm, zum ergen sein, die Phone verbringen, als alle die jemand de Pagres, Bechlal, und speziell, wenn sie kommt zu der Zeit von Gimel Tammuz, als jeder chsidische de Pagre bringt ruhig gewisse Machshavas und Ergeishim, sie deut auf Nissen, auf Chesiv, in Eteves, und Gimel Tammuz, me tracht, dass sie kommt bald, noch 30 Tage, dem Tag, was hat gebieten, als sehr viele Sachen, wie Gashmi ist für uns, für unsere Kinder, aber man weiß, als der Rebbe ist mit uns mehr wie früher, als sie sagt dem Rebbe, und als geht dadurch 25 Jahre, was ist umzugleben, als wir sind noch halt in Golus, es kann sein, als Elam Kemino geneig, und man sagt, dass Baruch Hashem, Lubavitch ist groß, Lubavitch wächst, und bekommt zum Rebbe, man geht auf den Ziehen, und man tut, was man darf, aber sie können werden, als wie Chinas an Nusach, also man darf gehen auf den Ziehen, man darf allein in Tote Zave, der letzte Mal, was der uns gegeben, ist, wir dürfen verbringen mit sich, wir dürfen verbringen mit die Brebais, mit die Kinder, als wir seinen Chassidim, Chayolim, Schluchim, was dürfen sich miskasche sein mit den Reben, noch sehr viele Jahren, hoffe ich schon noch, mehr, sag mehr, doch heilig und mäßig, und ich habe schon winziger, und ich der Mann sich, als es da zwei Ktsoves, was der Rebbe redet in Sichers, wegen Menashe und Ephraim. Und das in einer gewissen Weg drückt uns die Nekude. Als sie kommt zu Gimel Tammuz, man gedenkt, was sie gewähnt, vor 25 Jahren zurück, ist die Nekude von Menashe, Kinoshani Elekim, Samoli Besovi, das ist etwas, was sie kommt dem Zeit und man tragt wegen dem, die Garguim zum Reben, als bei Gashmis, es fällt, die Zimoin zu sehen, dem Reben, die Zinenu, die Detzes Malkenu, und das allein, und die Kinder, man will verbringen wegen die Nekude. Aber sie da echt der Freien, ki Frani, Elekim be'eretz Oni, also Davke, weil Jesef ist gewähnt in Mitzrayim, dorten ist gewähnt, als viele sagt dem Reben, in Asichi, in Chelak als die Teke von der Shami ist gerade geworden, als Sachmer, dort in die Platz von Cheshach. Aber der Hike, der Tafki, der Tachlis ist, als Chassidim, wir dürfen haben unsere Egen auf die Matore, auf die Schliches, was der wird uns gegeben, zu sich zugetreten, allein, und die ganze Welt, der Gabel Pnei Moshiach Zitkenu, ist, das darf man verbringen, allein und mit den Kindern, und sie erzählen, wie der Rebbe hat gehabt, als sehr viel Warmkeit, die Sever Panim Yofes, was man sieht, in die Videos, man sieht, wie der Rebbe, sie kommt, zum Moschel bei Dollars, der Rebbe geht zu allem, wenn sie kommt, Kinder, der Rebbe ist Panim Poshet Begashmis, wir können sehen, wir gedenken das, wir sind gewähnt dort, wir sind gestanden, wir haben das gesehen, aber die Videos, wir können das sehen, echt klar, und die Jachas und die Schmeichel, die Panim, die Panim Shechak ist, der Rebbe weiß zu Kinder, das ist eine Sache, was man darf das reingeben und zu unsere Kinder, sie sollen wissen, als sie seien, die Rebbes Kinder, wie der Rebbe hat gerät in die Siches von Tammuz Memhei, als Ma Zarei Bechaim, Afu Bechaim, ist nicht die Pshat, als weil Zarei Bechaim, das macht Bechaim. Hast du schon zu teitschen, die Maimel Chazal von Gemorre Azei. Na verkehrt, ist Bechaim, Hu Bechaim, der Rebbe lebt, und wie bald der Rebbe lebt mit uns, und in uns ist der Fahr mit seinen Zarei Bechaim. Der Zarei Bechaim ist nur eine Reihe, es ist nur ein Beweis, als Hu Bechaim. Man darf machen Zeit, ich will reden ein bisschen praktisch, in Jonim von Peil, was zu tun mit den Kindern, es ist jetzt auch jede Zeit, bis sie kommt, Gimel Tammuz, ist bei Emmer, ist die Achone darf sein, als sie wird nicht ein Jahreszeit, und sie wird sein, Resenenu, Lides Malkenu, man wird sehen, dem Reben Poshet Begashmis. Sie wird sein, die Geula, damit ist was Schleimer, und man wird verbringen mit dem Reben bis am Migdosh. Also, darf sein dem Zugang. Man darf gedenken, wo man will gedarf sein. Was man wartet und was man tut, zu bringen die Geula, zu sehen dem Reben. Et Chasse Vesholem, die Geula, was sich verhalten, ist, darf man wissen, als die in Jonim, was der Rebbe sagt uns, als Zarei Bechaim, Afu Bechaim, das ist Pschuta, und die Kinder glauben, sie haben ein Mund auf Pschuta, sie sicher glauben die Sachen, man darf sie teitschen, man darf sie maßbar sein, die in Jonim, und sie können das verstehen. Ist praktisch gerät, man darf machen Zeit, alle seine Vernommen, mit den Schliches und mit dem Arbe, die Tate und die Mame, es ist gar möglich, man wird verbringen wegen dem, aber es ist mit allen Orchim und die Mikurovim, man darf machen Zeit, Lichure, für sich allein die Bleibais, die Mischpoche, was das geht zu den Kindern an Möglichkeit, als sie können fragen etwas, sie gehen sich nicht schämen, als sie da immer beim Tisch, andere Menschen im Zimmer, es ist noch die Mischpoche, sie können sich ausdrücken, man kann reden mit sie, und sie fragen, sie verstehen die Unionen, speziell die größeren Kinder, wie legt sich die Unionen, was man jetzt von Iskasches zum Reben, und fragen bei sie, wie sie fühlen, als man kann sein, mehr mit Kusche zu lernen, sie sollen reden, sie sollen sein achelig von dem, und das ist eine Sache geringer und mehr mutzlich, beschaß, als man sitzt zusammen, die Mischpoche bei der Verbringen, und man sagt Lechaim, und man lernt etwas von Reben, was ist auch für Kinder, noch ist Lahak hat gegeben, die Telefon nachher mal viel mit Nekudes, als die Kinder können das lernen allein, und man kann teitschen und reden, wegen was der besagt uns, speziell in von Hisorerus, singen Nigunim, der Rebbe ist Nigunim, und als sie sich zugetreten und sich verstärken, die Hisorerus, die Kinder sollen wissen, als ihre Identity, wer sie seien Kedemkol, die Rebbes Kinder, sie sind Zarei Bechaim. Zusammen noch eine Sache praktisch ist, wir haben Baruch Hashem Dank zu Jem sehr viele Videos von Rem, es sind dort die Living Teile, es sind dort Verbringen, aber noch einmal, als die Mischproche, wir sitzen allein, wir können mal sehen, die Chabada, mit allem, die Living Terror, oder verbringen, aber er macht das, als es die Mischproche, Itzter, geht man machen eine Zeit, wir gehen sehen, als verbringen von dem. Lass auf die ganze verbringen. Ja, die ganze verbringen, und die Kinder wollen sich einschlafen auf dem Couch und wissen, als die Mischproche, die Eltern gucken auf dem, aber man soll machen eine Zeit, also man soll gucken auf dem, der hat gesagt, als Videos ist ein lebendiges Bild, und lebendig ist Tarte im Aschmas. Es ist lebendig, wenn man setzt, was jetzt die Rücktrag ist, das ist ein Video, und sie gibt uns Chais. Sie gibt uns Chais mit sehr vielen Menschen, sehr vielen Chassidim, Kurovim, sehen ein Video von ihm, bei mir, wo sie sein, und sie kriegen klare Answers von ihm. Die Hashvi'i Proti ist, wer man hat gesehen, was hat der Rebbe gesagt, man darf gucken, von Zielpnei Harav, gucken Videos von ihm zusammen mit den Beis, und die Kinder können schreiben, dann auch reden wegen dem. Es ist dann noch eine schöne Sache, was ist jetzt heraus, nicht lang zurück, die Connection Point, die als Kinder in ganz Welt, viele Schluchen, wo sind in einer Platz, wo sie schon ein bisschen Chinuch, man kann gucken auf eine Rallye, wo der Rebbe redet zu Kindern, und danach die Kinder können reinschicken, was sie haben geschrieben, und reingehen in eine Raffle und kriegen Prizes. Und als solche Sachen, das gibt Chais zu den Kindern, und es verstärkt sie, ist Kashrus, und danach man darf mechanisch sein, die Kinder, als man darf schreiben zu dem, allein, was haben wir getan, wie haben sie sich zugegräht, und was will sie tun, zu geben nachher Schruach zu dem. Der Rebbe wird helfen, als sicher, das wird geben nachher zu dem, Poshet Begashmis, und als wie der Rebbe sagt, in die Sicher, in Chelektes Vov, als Jakob wird gesagt zu Jesef, als Menashe und Ephraim und Menashe, Kiruvin Veshimin Yiyuli. Und der Rebbe sagt, als das ist, weil sie seinen geboren geworden, und sich heute gehadet wird, darf kein Platz, wo Jakob ist nicht gewesen. Begashmi ist nicht gewesen dort, Jesus ist gewesen in Mitzrayim. Und der Rebbe ist magisch, der Wort nicht gefunden. Jakob hat sich nicht gefunden dort. Der Vater sagt, Jakob, lieh heim. Das ist meine Kinder, also wie die anderen Schwotim. Es ist sicher dieselbe Sache, als unsere Kinder sind die Rebbes Kinder, und man soll sicher sein, als Gott in Gichen, man wird sehen, dem Rebben Poshet Begashmi ist, Vehu Yigaleinu.
Thank you very much, Agroisen Yashikach, for the warm words and suggestions. And when we go from our family, obviously, and ourselves, over to the larger community, I remember once I showed many times, but one time after I showed a gem video, somebody came over to me, and one of the people in the crowd, he said, I didn't get an opportunity to see the eyes, meaning the eyes of the Rebbe, but I got an opportunity to see the eyes that saw the eyes. He was referring to me as in some way reflecting the Rebbe. So as Chassidim and as Shluchim, we are reflecting the Rebbe, and we should be faithful to that, obviously. And part of our role is obviously introducing the Rebbe to people in the community. And Rabbi Zalman Shmotkin, the director of Chabad.org and the Chabad Lubavitch Media Center, is going to speak on that topic.
Hi. Thank you very much, Vader Vechom, to the previous speakers, for the Hisorerus, Cholo, Chaim Brider, Chaim Anash, Shluchim. The famous letter from the Rebbe of Rosh Chodesh Shvat, Tavshin Yud Aleph, before Yud Shvat, Tavshin Yud Aleph, the Rebbe tells us that we need to go to shuls and Batei Medrash, and emphasizes especially places of kibbutz, kinusei noyar. The Rebbe says noyar Haredi, and hopefully also maybe those that aren't Haredi yet, to teach them, to explain to them about the Frierdiker Rebbe and about the Avas Kol Yisrael Shaloi, the love of every single Jew. And about the youth, the Rebbe says, to explain to them, and teach them Asher Tova Mehem, and to talk about the herois that he gave and the takonis that he did, etc., etc. Many years later, Yud Aleph Nissen Tavshin Mem Hey, at the Farbrengen, where the Rebbe made the first Siyum Harambam. right along with that, the immediate next Sikha, the fourth Sikha, I think it's mamish required learning, the Rebbe makes a very, very big deal about the fact that it's 850 years of the Rambam, and it's a Shasa Kosher to get the Umis HaOlam to recognize the Rambam. The Rambam had so much that he devoted himself to them, etc., etc. I can't repeat the whole Sikha now. So we see, Rabbi Yitzi mentioned, there's an imperative to go out there and teach people about the Rebbe, about the Rambam Shebederenu, as we can apply it. So the question is why? Is it simply because we need to promote our Rebbe? We want to make sure that it feels. I'll say this grub. I'm saying it feels good. It feels good for us. Needless to say, as you ma'ayin in this letter, in this sikha, and especially there's a Meredika letter from the Rebbe to Reb Shalom Chaim Kesselman in Tafshin Tes. I think it's the Chela Gimel of the Rebbe Zigris, explaining to Chassidim who daven ba'aveda and learn Chassidus, and we're mekosher very, very deeply to the Rabbeim, how critical it is that they go out to the world and simply share with them the fact that Yesh Rebbe B'Yisrael. There's a holy Yid who's on Hage and his love and everything is head and shoulder above others, and he's there to help other Yidden. And it's Pashat Meinei Bar if we don't do that. So the Rebbe spends a lot of time explaining this. It's Meredith. This is before the Rebbe's Nesiah, so he's explaining about how critical it is that they teach the others about the Frierdiker Rebbe. And he brings a dogma he says there was a person who went to a faraway country. He doesn't have a beard, and suddenly letters started coming from all kinds of people to the Frierdiker Rebbe because he didn't feel that it was a whole Aveda. How am I going to take these are my words, not how am I going to take my deep, hidden hiskashrus and my shaykhus to the Rebbe, and how could the world possibly understand the Rebbe, and how could I possibly pass on that same energy to others? He didn't make any of these cheshbenis. He poshet had Avos Yisrael, recognized that it's good for these Yidden to be miskasher with the Frierdiker Rebbe, and he went ahead and he pulled them in. And just sharing that so naturally and just from a human point of view, through that he was ma'erer mekusharim. So what's the effect of this? So the Rebbe says that a woman who wasn't shaykh so much to mikveh, she started with Suris Kashrus, and through this, now she's keeping Shabbos and mikveh. I'm sorry, I didn't check it before. I was like, thanks, Achmer. Hakapanim, we see the same phenomenon now too. And I'm going to mention just a couple of anecdotes that are well known, but bears repeating. We have, just coming to Chabad.org, we have over 55 million people a year, separate people. Many come repeatedly, daily or weekly. And it keeps growing. Why? Why are people coming? They're coming because they're pashut, thirsty for Dvar Hashem. They're pashut coming. The world is broken. If there was a while where people thought it wasn't, nowadays the current climate in all the different countries with politics, people are desperate for meaning. People are desperate to hear from us, to get the Rebbe's message, to be able to apply meaning and purpose to their lives, to hear even a good word that they make a difference, that they're not just a number. I don't want to start citing all the statistics of depression and suicide and so forth. It's all because people are lonely. People don't have a sense of connection, and they're coming. They're thirsty for the words that they learn from the Rebbe, whether it's things that they learn directly from the Rebbe or things that others explain, from the Rebbe. That's why they're coming. And the same, we see Ata Yom, the New York Times bestseller book from 5 years ago, written by somebody from the outside, and people are still, as they're encountering it and reading it, actually devouring it, they're running to shluchim and to others, saying, "I want to put on tefillin. I want to keep Shabbos." There's not a whole lot in there necessarily explaining about why you should put on tefillin, why you should keep Shabbos. But what's the vart? The vart is that if we connect people to the Rebbe, if we allow people access to the Rebbe, and we do so from Gidrei Elam Haza, from within the Tachtin, so to say, the Dirub Tachtainim, then what we're really doing is Pashit, opening up, we're touching their Yechidah. We're allowing their Yechidah to be open. And once the Yechidah is touched, once the Yechidah is open, all bets are off. So if a federation leader somewhere, if a person in the State Department, if a Jew, a non-Jew, whoever it may be, if they're now being careful in their language because the Rebbe was careful about language, that's a form of iskashrus that later on leads them to all kinds of good things. So the imperative that we have to share this is pashut. It's never been greater, and there is a very significant part of the Welt today, more than ever before, that is very much aware and part of this. Even just for this Gimel Tammuz, I mean, a lot of different media things that people are interested in the Rebbe's teachings and how the Rebbe's Hisorerus continue to to be implemented. Again, far outside of Lubavitch, and I want to say I think that's one of the key nekudas for us to try to remember, is that in all these things about bringing people closer to the Rebbe, it's very, very important that we do so. Again, as I said, from the Gidrei Atachten, this is not because it's not related to the organization, so to say, of Lubavitch. The Rabbanim who are speaking in their shul, and the people are even speaking, Leil Shavua soon. Some of them are bringing it to their programs. They're doing it because this is their Rebbe. They are getting ruchnias. They're getting hadrach, even in the gashmis, in the meaning of their life and so forth. That is, that's why all this is happening. There's a new book coming out. Just some of you saw information about it. It's taking it to the next level, helping the Sikh about the Rambam, helping the Welt appreciate more how impactful the Rebbe B'chayim Chayos B'Halmadena, as well as implementing the teachings now. How important and effective it is on the Welt, and on and on. I mean, there's another book that's coming out through a very successful person in the modern Orthodox community, explaining the Rebbe's Torah. That will probably come out around Rosh Hashanah or Hanukkah. These things are happening grassroots. These things are happening organically because people have come to appreciate the Rebbe themselves. Each and every one of us, as Chabadniks, as Shluchim, if we could only take the time to appreciate how to help those who are not yet aware of this fully, how they're living really in the Rebbe's world. They're living in a world of Yiddishkeit that's shaped by the Rebbe all over, not just because of the Mamlocha of Chabad. Even if they disagree with Chabad, even if they have machlekes with Chabad, but the Rebbe is the Nasi from whom they can get Hashra and Ashpa and Beruchnis and so forth, and to continue their own shlichus on this world. So I think there are a lot of different tools and so forth that are available. There's Baruch Hashem, an amazing team at Chabad.org, at Chabad One, and a lot of other people and supporters and so forth. But again, I think the critical thing for us to remember is it's biyadenu pasha to share, not to be minei abar, to share with others and to be me'er them. And if there is someone, a person of influence, whether it's in writing or it's local or it's national, it's international, to work to try to find the right way to harness that, so that they should be able to pass on that energy and help allow others to be miskasher as well. I would be remiss if I don't mention, two individuals who have been available to a lot of these different initiatives. There's a group of modern Orthodox mechanchim that have been creating a curriculum for their schools. Some of this will probably continue next year, throughout the year. There's a group of rabbis who have really been made of some of their chaverim, but sometimes they've needed little funds here and there for their efforts. So Rabbi Yikusil Yehuda ben Yisara and Rabbi Yitzchak ben Leah, they've been extraordinarily giving to all them, especially because of the grassroots efforts. And I think, if we look at these heroes from the Rebbe, we will appreciate the oasis we need, the process we need. All of this, the Rebbe Pashut gave it us in a package for us about the Frierdiker Rebbe. We just need to apply it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reb Zalman. Now, towards the end of the call, we're going to be going through a list of some of the various different things that are being offered by different moistus in the upcoming time to Gimel Tammuz. I'm going to mention one or two of them now, and then the others later on. GEM, you may have heard, is launching 25 projects for Gimel Tammuz. To highlight a couple of them is there's 2 new books. One by One is a book from the My Encounter Project, and My Story is also being printed into Hebrew. There's a video, Hidden Treasure, which could be how the Rebbe finds the Yakros of every single Yid, which could be used at a Gimel Tammuz event. And then there's for children, the Rebbe's relationship with them, which is a short, exciting video which can be used for non-Lubavitch and even non-Frum children about the Rebbe's relationship with children. We will later on mention some of the various other things. We now move on to our next speaker. Now, I will say that when Amotzi Pesach, Achen Shal Pesach, at the end of Achen Shal Pesach this year, reports came over the media about the tragic shooting in Poway, and we were reading it, what was being said, and we were reading this description of Rabbi Goldstein standing and talking to his community after being wounded and while holding his bandaged hand in a talis. And my son said to me with a look in his eyes, he says, "Wow, Tati, that's a shliach." But I got to be honest that over the next couple of days and weeks, I think every chassid and shliach who saw Rabbi Goldstein get up and speak said, "Wow, that's a shliach." Not only in a time of difficult crisis that he does the right thing to encourage his community, but that's a shliach who doesn't miss an opportunity to mention the Rebbe's name and the Rebbe's mitzvah of a moment of silence. So with that, we wish Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein a tremendous refuah shalema and gesund and only simcha for him and his community. And Rabbi Goldstein from Chabad of Poway is going to talk about Shem Shamayim Shaga B'Fiv. Rabbi Goldstein.
Thank you very much. And first, I want to give our karas tov for everyone who has extended all your brachas and tefillas, that Baruch Hashem, things are healing, and we're moving forward in a very strong, powerful way. Today marks 40 days from Achen Shel Pesach, and still trying to wrap my brains around everything that has occurred. But what stands out, I think, the most is asking myself, how did I have the wherewithal to have the presence of mind to be able to be the way I was? And I don't think I'll ever figure that out, because it must have been a natural instinct. And if we call it natural instinct, we could call that maybe the word iskashus. And realizing that what happened to me at that moment, looking down the barrel of the rifle and seeing this cheshech kafel mechupel, this ritzeach, you jump into a mode. You have the 2 choices, which at that moment I call it the Rebbe mode. How would have the Rebbe, if he had to deal with this, and he dealt with a lot of things, would have reacted? And all of a sudden, you take 57 years of living with the Rebbe. As a kid growing up, my dream has always been to become a shliach, to be zeicha, to be part of the shlichus, and to get there and to be there. And nurturing that throughout your whole life, realizing that you are here with Keicham Shaleach, and it's something that needs to be nurtured every day, something that needs to be nurtured and felt and lived with. And perhaps it was all that, the learning of the sichas and the shiurei Torah and sitting on your desk and having a picture of the Rebbe facing at you all the time. And you always look up to the Rebbe when a good thing happens, or when not such good things happen. You ask why, you say thank you. And it's the concept of living with the Rebbe regularly. What came out in the White House, the Rose Garden, the speech, was a word that I said, which I didn't even know that I said till I saw it later, when I said the word my Rebbe. The ownership of my Rebbe, feeling and knowing that this is mine, that the Rebbe owns me, and I'm the Rebbe, that it's my Rebbe, and that had tremendous amount of effect. I was on the way back from Washington. We drove to New York, and we stopped by a Muncie, and we went by to eat something. And as I'm standing in line, there's a Satmar Chassid there, turns around to me and says, "I got to give you a hug. The way you spoke about your Rebbe, you said those words, my Rebbe, it changed us all." He says, "You have no idea what it's done for the Hasidic world out there." And I thought about that concept and realizing if we could all talk as the Rebbe, as my Rebbe, own it and feel it and live it, then that's certainly where we could go very far with it, for our families, for our kinderlach, and for our communities. And they're realizing, the Wort Keravelt Heint happened at that moment. That moment here, Achim Pesach, was my Heint. That was my Heint when I had the Keravelt. And it propelled me into a mode that brought me to the White House and brought me to wherever it brought me to realize that we all have a Heint, and how do we do the Keravelt Heint? When you remember the Sicha and you live it and you feel it, then you realize that we could all do it, because we all have it inside us. It may be hidden, we may have not brought it out, but that hiskashus exists in every single one of us. And one of the taglines I used was not just being Jewish, but doing Jewish. So I think about the same concept with hiskashus, not just being Rebbe, but doing Rebbe. And bring into real action and start talking about the Rebbe as it's your Rebbe, it's my Rebbe. Just to share with you a thought, in Topshin and Aleph, my father, Uncle Yossi, went to the Rebbe in Yudalf Nissen to present a key to the Chabad house in Sydney, Australia, to my brother-in-law, Rabbi Ullman, who just opened up his Chabad house. And when my father presented the key to the Rebbe, my father said, "Das ist from Rebbe Fayem Eledis." And the Rebbe gave a big smile and said, "Das darf man abgeben dem Eibishtin, und nicht soll sich schön dort sich herumdrehen sich." There's no question in my mind that after the day Achim Pesach, when the bullets came flying towards me, the Rebbe sich gut herumgedreht. The Rebbe pushed those bullets away, and Baruch Hashem, I'm here to talk. I'm here to be here as a living example. If you're wondering where the Rebbe is after 25 years, boy, he was here in our Chabad house and very strongly here. And the Rebbe continues to be here, and to realize and to recognize that the nisim and the flois that has happened continues to happen. I saw the Rebbe Bizgalus Mamash over in our Chabad house saving my life and creating the nisim. And no one knows about this part of the whole event, that when the soldier came to run into the lobby, he sees a chair flying on the shooter. No one came to claim yet how the chair flew to the shooter. And so there's an unsung hero out there. And for me, there's no question in my mind who threw that chair on that shooter. So in all, as my great Gimel Tammuz, the hiskashus is there. Let's bring it out. Let's start talking about the Rebbe as my Rebbe. Let's coin that word everywhere, wherever we talk, because you are the Rebbe is you. And we'll say sein to Galus, mamish, amen.
Yeshakayach Gadol, Rabbi Goldstein, for those very powerful, special words. In a Fabrengen and Tafshin und Beis, Parshas Va'era, the Rebbe started the first Sikha. The Rebbe told the famous story about the Machtzedek crying about not having Gila Lakus. The second Sikha, the Rebbe started by saying it's a Dochrogil to talk about a Hira Lapoil, something practical. And the Rebbe said the Hira Lapoil is that everybody needs to have Gila Lakus. I remember at the time listening, it was a very powerful thing, the way that Rebbe was saying the Hira Lapoil is to have Gila Lakus. The Hira Lapoil before Gimel Tammuz is, of course, we want Gila Lakus, the Gilui of the Rebbe and of the coming of Mashiach very soon, but we also need to have Tapora de Placha, something Poil Mamishdik. So the Vad Vechom, who's been extremely instrumental in this and many other different projects, is now going to present a number of the projects that they have upcoming. with Gimel Tammuz, and Rabbi Yossi Deren of Chabad of Greenwich is going to present it.
Thank you, Yitzi, and a big yashakef to all of those who bring for us. I would like to start one particular Tafara de Placha, which I think would be very appreciated by everyone who is on this call, would be if the Ma'arganim, or the Ma'argan of this call, would be able to collect the incredible Mara Mekamis that were cited throughout this Farbrengen, the Igres, the Sichres, and collect that and be able to pass it on so those who heard it can delve into the Mekeir Mayim Chayim directly, and of course to be made to that. Vad Vechom is Baruch Hashem under the directorship of Rabbi Mendel Shem Tov over the last few months, and the Pa'ulas have taken on a new ruach, and I'm going to present to you right now 3 new initiatives that we've been focusing on for this year, specifically for 25 years of Gimel Tammuz. And in detail, of course, Rabbi Shem Tov, I will point out Rabbi Shem Tov's contact info for those who would like to participate or to get more information on these very important ules. The first of these 3 is a children's curriculum. Following the tremendous hatzlacha that Baruch Hashem we've seen in previous years, we have a curriculum that's been prepared to be, and it's going to be used in over 120 schools, which means over 16,000 children taking part in this curriculum. This year may even be much more than that. It's been being translated into 4 languages, and as we've done it in the past, this is a project that the Vad Vechom does in conjunction with GEM. The Lubavitcher schools around the entire world participate in this, and it's basically a 2-part series that is able to bring to children the fundamental idea of Hiskashrus in a very hands-on and engaging experience. It fosters a deeper understanding from a child's perspective of what the definition of a Rebbe is, why we need a Rebbe, what our connection to the Rebbe is, and how to translate the relevance of Hiskashrus into our everyday life. So these are 2 lessons. Each one of them has a full teacher's guide. It has PowerPoints, video clips of the Rebbe, animated videos, etc., all in order to be able to provide the children of Anash, Sidim, Shluchim around the world with the most, and of course, all of B'nai U'B'nai Yisrael, with the tools to be able to strengthen their Hiskashrus in the classroom format. Each lesson is about 45 minutes. We know that we're coming to the end of the school year, so although school is almost over, some schools may have the time to expand upon these short 45-minute lessons, and there's material that allows for a few short follow-up lessons for each of these, so you could spend the full week on each topic of how this Hiskashrus is divided. Anyone who would like to take this curriculum for their Meisid can sign up at Vechom, ORVECHOM, Vechom.com/curriculum. The second initiative is something which is the first of its kind. It's unique. It hasn't been done before, and we're endeavoring to make we've endeavored to make a more pnimizdika program, which is geared for Anash around the world, to be able to reconnect and reawaken, rekindle the flame, the eternal flame and internal flame of Hiskashrus as we prepare the Imdohachin Kulchem for the Yom HaYilula. Obviously, 25 years is a natural time, a Chatzi Yevel. The Rebbe pointed this out. It's a time that we should and can assess our personal connection to the Rebbe and how to bring it into a guidance of our daily life. So this is kind of referred to a little bit as a refresher on the complete concept of Hiskashrus. And what this is, it's a series of 3 shiurim that have been prepared, distilling 3 core concepts of Hiskashrus, of the Rebbe Chassid dynamic, so to speak. And each one of these series are meant to empower the Shluchim and Rabbanim who are teaching them, to empower all of the students as follows. Number 1, the first class, is about Hiskashrus itself, using the Lashon Harav, focusing on the appreciation, as has been so clearly and beautifully, eloquently explained over the course of the last hour, of how the Rebbe cares for every individual. What it means that the Rebbe is Nesi Dereinu. That's the first class. The second is about Hashkafas HaChayim, that the Rebbe endeavored to be Mechanech Chassidim and Yidden, and using again Lashon Harav. The point of the second lesson is to internalize the Rebbe's approach to daily life and the struggles that every Yid has in this world. And finally, of course, the third lesson is on how each of us, every Yid, every Chassid especially, can act and should act on the Rebbe's desire to bring Mashiach, and what it is that each of us can do to fulfill our role, the Sakin Elam, the Malchus Shin Dalet Yud. So, we know, of course, the Rebbe famously defined the Chassid as someone who commits to be a better Yid tomorrow than he or she is today. And obviously, at a milestone like this, 25 years, it's imperative for every Chassid to proactively work on themselves, on ourselves, and of course on all of our Mikuravim, Balei Tshuva, Anash, Shluchim, Chassidim, to each of us become more strong in our connection to the Rebbe. This is a program, this particular program, took many months of preparation, a lot of research, a lot of writing, a lot of editing, and it's geared for Anash communities to give them this fresh and deep perspective of topics that we all know about, but these are the tools to really convey the ideas in a very meaningful and enduring way. This is something that those who have seen it, the Shluchim and Rabbanim around the world who have seen these shiurim already, are very excited about what this will be able to do in terms of bringing the Rebbe to the world, starting with our own Anash and our close Mikuravim. If you would like to have this shiur to be able to give in your community, email Rabbi Shem Tov. His email address is info@vechom.com. Finally, the third of these initiatives is also for the first time. It's a unique program. Benegea to Shabbos Gimel Tammuz itself, in addition to all of the programming of shiurim and farbrengens for men that has been organized over the years by the different organizing vadim, which of course all of those things will be happening again this year, Be'ezus Hashem. For the first time this year, there will be a special Shabbos Hiskashrus for women of all ages, a program which includes 25 plus hours of inspirational speakers, farbrengens, Shavas Achim Gam Yochad, at a hotel which is within walking distance from the Eil, a few miles. There will be a special program at the hotel, of course, over the course of Shabbos. And for those who wish to come to the Eil on the day of Gimel Tammuz itself, on the day of the Elula, for those women who wish to make that walk, there will be a program on Shabbos afternoon in a building near the Eil for those who are going to make the walk. Baruch Hashem, over 300 women have already signed up, and considering the capacity in the hotel itself, there are limited spots that remain available. The details for this are at shabboshiskashrus.com. So those are basically the 3 initiatives. There's a resource website for anybody who would like to prepare properly for Gimel Tammuz and Aruchni stick away, vechom.com/hachana. A lot of initiatives are being done from many different organizations that we're working with. And of course, the VAD is here to help any who would like to create more events, Farbrengens, in their communities on the day or in preparation for Gimel Tammuz. And finally, of course, if anyone is able to assist in the financial hitzois, again, please email info@be'ervechom.com to Rabbi Mendel Shem Tov. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Darren. And now, before we move on to the next part, which is the finishing part, I just want to, Rabbi Darren mentioned a number of different initiatives, and I'm going to mention over here, we mentioned earlier about the GEMS initiative, and it was mentioned about Vada Vechom. I'm going to mention 5 initiatives. So the first one is from the Deher. There'll be a new Hiskashus WhatsApp series for the next 30 days. The second, number 2, I said there are 5. So the second is of Chabad.org, and Chabad.org has, first of all, a new book by Rabbi Mendel Kalmanson, Positivity Bias, about the Rebbe's attitude, a new online special course, and of course, help with events, local officials, and media, as Chabad.org are so wonderful to do. The third thing that I mentioned is JLI, which has I think 7 or perhaps more, host of resources, including classes and so forth, including a class on the significance of visiting the Rebbe's oil, Sparks of Wisdom, and you can see that on the JLI website. Number 4, the fourth thing is the Vad HaTmimim is going to be organizing Shurim and Farbrengens throughout the Shabbos by the oil. And the 5th one is from Chabad of Wisconsin by Rabbi Small Shmotkin. He has a booklet called Oida Vinu Chai. It's a powerful resource on the Rebbe's Hiskashrus and Mashiach for individuals, Mechanchim and Mashpiyim. So an email and a WhatsApp blurb with links to many of these resources will be sent out. So as we reach the closing of this hour of Hachana, so first of all, of course, to thank the Vada Vechom and the organizers, and especially Rabbi Shmuley Rothman for all that he's done to make this special event possible. At a Farbrengen of the Rebbe, which I merited to be at, Parshas Kisavei Tafshin Nun Aleph, the Rebbe, and I say this also, we're now approaching the Yom Tov of Shavuos, where the Yom Tov of Shavuos is the time when we as Yidden reaffirm our connection to Hashem through the Kabbalah Satorah. As we know, Yisrael Eiraisa v'Kudsha Bricha Kul Echad, the Yidden are connected to Hashem through Torah, and the Yidden are connected to Hashem directly. And one of the things of Shavuos is also Chag HaBikurim. So in Parshas Kisavei, the Rebbe spoke about Bikurim. And the Rebbe, by that Farbrengen, was a very special Farbrengen. It was 2 weeks after the famous Parshas Shoftim, where the Rebbe spoke about Nasi Dareinu being the Shofet Shebedareinu. But over here, the Rebbe spoke in a similar vein. And the Rebbe describes Bikurim. And the Rebbe says, here is a person. He comes with his Peiros, with his Bikurim, and he comes to the Beis HaMikdash. And who does he come to? He comes to the Kohen HaGadol of that is in that day. And there stands, the Rebbe then describes. The Rebbe says, there stands the Kohen Gadol mit a lange weiße Bord. Where the Rebbe said it. I was just looked now in the Hanochas. I couldn't find it, but I remember it very distinctly. And then the Rebbe said, what is the Avodah of Bikurim? The Avodah of Bikurim Beruchnius is the Bikurim is your Machshava Dibu Umaisa. And what does it mean that you bring Bikurim to the Kohen, or the Kohen Gadol, is that you bring your Machshava Dibu Umaisa to Nasi Dareinu. So as we prepare for Gimel Tammuz, this idea of being able, ready, willing, and able to bring our Machshava Dibu Umaisa as Bikurim to Nasi Dareinu, to our Rebbe, is a very powerful idea and something that we can use to bring the Bikurim to Nasi Dareinu. Let us hope that till Gimel Tammuz will already be able to celebrate the Gula HaMitzvah V'Ashleima. Kehera Fayin in a second. It was that we will have the Hiskalus of the Rebbe, and as the Rebbe says, V'niske zen zech mit den Rebbe do lamata in aguf or lamata ma'asara tvachim v'hu yigaleinu. May we merit and zeicha to see it very soon. Thank you very much, and Kabbalah Satorah b'simcha u'b'pnimis. There will now be Nigunim for the Rebbe on for the next 20 10 or 20 minutes, and you're welcome to stay online in order to listen to us and join in.
Cheyilu Hi.